All right, welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into AI companions. It's a topic that's been making its way from science fiction into, our real lives, and it's happening really fast.
Yeah, definitely moving quickly.
It really is.
Mm.
So to help us get a better handle on this, we're going to be looking at excerpts from The Rise of AI Companions, Emotional Technology in Business and Beyond. I think that's going to be really interesting. What we really want to do is understand how AI companions have evolved, how businesses are using them, both the good and the maybe not so good, and what kind of impact this all has on us as humans. And of course, we got to look at the tech behind it all.
The source material dives deep into all that. It really captures how complex this whole area is, especially the speed at which it's changing. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah, the pace of change is just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you think, right? Like, are we just dealing with really advanced tools here, or is it something more? Are we actually starting to form connections with AI? I mean, Dr. Maya Richardson from the University of Toronto called the line between artificial and authentic connection fascinatingly blurred. And just think about this. Replica, which is one of these AI companion platforms, it has over 10 million users, and they're spending, on average, 40 minutes a day with it. 40 minutes. That's like how much time some people spend on Facebook or Instagram.
Right. That's wild.
It is. So let's start by looking back. How did we even get to AI companions? Like, what's the history of this whole digital companionship thing?
Well, we've come a long way. It started with simple chatbots, those things that could answer basic questions. But now we've got systems that remember what you talked about before, adapt to what you like, and even seem to understand emotions. It's like they're learning as they go.
Yeah, exactly. They're not just answering questions anymore. They're more like digital entities that are always there listening and responding in a way that feels, personal.
Right. And platforms like Replica and Character.ai are leading the way. They're the ones building these digital entities, for this kind of ongoing interaction and companionship. And they're getting good at it.
They really are. Okay, so let's switch gears a bit and talk about business. Our source material highlights some pretty big opportunities that AI companions are opening up.
Absolutely. Businesses are seeing the potential for, really personalized engagement. And not just that, it's 204/7 engagement, which could make people way more loyal to a brand than, traditional marketing. It's about building a relationship.
It is. It's like a whole different way of thinking about customer relationships.
Yeah.
And they gave some really interesting examples in the source material. Like in retail, North Face and Sephora are trying out these AI shopping assistants that remember what you've bought before and then make suggestions based on that. It's like having a personal shopper, but it's AI.
Exactly. And it's not just retail. Wobot Health, they're using AI companions for therapy. They're actually seeing some promising results with people dealing with anxiety and depression. And then there's the financial world where companies like RBC and TD Canada Trust are looking into AI advisors that can, sense if a customer is stressed. Imagine that your financial advisor knows when you're freaking out and changes how it talks to you.
That's incredible. It really shows how AI is becoming more and more sophisticated in how it interacts with us. And, Margot Chen from the Canadian Business Technology Consortium, she said that companies that nail this whole emotional AI thing, they're going to have a huge advantage when it comes to keeping customers happy. I mean, she didn't mince words.
Yeah, she was pretty clear about that. It's a big deal.
It is. Okay, so now let's talk about the human side of things. This is where things get really interesting and complicated, right? The source material talks about how AI companions can actually help people who are lonely or feel isolated.
Yeah, that was really interesting. They gave the example of Jordan Miller. He talked about his Replica companion as being like a judgment-free zone, a place where you can just be yourself without worrying what people think. For some people, these AI companions are a really positive addition to their lives, even if they already have human connections.
That idea of having someone or something to talk to without judgment, it's very appealing. It's like a safe space.
Right. But the source also brings up some concerns from mental health professionals, like Dr. Alan Klein. He's worried about people, especially younger people or those who struggle with relationships, maybe replacing real human connection with AI. There's a fear that some people might withdraw into these digital worlds because they feel safer and more rewarding than the messiness of real life.
I could see how that could happen. I mean, human relationships are hard. And with an AI, you don't have to deal with any of that, right? It's always there, always positive, always supportive.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why it's important to understand how these AI companions are getting so good at what they do. Like, what's the tech behind it all? The source breaks it down into a few key areas. One is LLMs, or large language models. These are what allow the AI to create responses that sound natural and make sense in context. It's like they've read so much text that they can predict what words are most likely to come next.
So they're not just matching keywords, they're actually processing language like we do.
Exactly. Then there are emotional intelligence algorithms. They analyze what you're saying, your words, your tone, even how much you're writing, and try to figure out how you're feeling, and then they adjust how the AI responds. It's another layer of personalization.
It's pretty amazing, but also kind of creepy, you know?
Yeah, it's a bit of both, for sure. And then you have memory systems, which, like the name suggests, allow the AI to remember stuff from past conversations. That's what gives it that sense of continuity, like you're building a history together. And then, of course, there are personalization engines. These learn about you over time and tweak the AI's personality to match yours. It's like the AI is constantly evolving based on how you interact with it.
Wow. Dr. Sonia Patel from UBC, she talked about this whole feedback loop that gets created. It's like with each interaction, the AI is getting better and better understanding of you, your emotions, your needs. It's kind of like what happens in human relationships, but with, code.
Yeah, that's the part that really makes you think. Okay, so circling back to business, besides the human impact, what are the big wins that companies are hoping to get out of AI companions?
I mean, it seems like there's some pretty major benefits, right?
Totally. Like, customer loyalty is a big one. Building an emotional connection that's way stronger than just, buying and selling stuff. And then there's the data. These interactions generate so much information about what customers want, what they're thinking. It's like a gold mine for businesses.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're drooling over that data. They could use it for marketing, product development, all sorts of things.
For sure. Plus, think about efficiency. One AI companion can handle tons of conversations at the same time. It's like having a whole team of customer service reps, but without the, human limitations. And for companies that jump on this early, it's a chance to stand out from the crowd. It's a competitive edge.
Right, it makes sense. But of course, it's not all sunshine and roses, right? There are some potential risks too. What did the source material say about that?
Well, for one, there's the whole legal side of things. Laws are still catching up with this tech, and there's a lot of uncertainty about how it's all going to be regulated. And then there's the responsibility issue. We talked about people becoming dependent on AI companions, so companies have to think about how to protect their users.
And the source material mentions security too, which is a huge concern.
Right, that's crucial. These AI companions, they know a lot about us, which makes them prime targets for hackers. I mean, imagine the damage someone could do if they got access to all that personal information. Terrence Zhang from IntelliCompanion, he talked about the need for serious security measures to protect users and keep their trust.
Okay, so looking ahead, how do we make sure AI companions are developed and used responsibly?
Well, the source emphasized transparency. People need to know right from the start that they're talking to an AI. No tricks, no confusion, and it all has to be consent-driven. Users need to be in control of their data, how the AI learns from them, and what kind of relationship they want to have. It can't just be a free-for-all.
And limits are important too, right? Like, especially for people who are more vulnerable or to prevent the AI from giving bad advice. You don't want it to cause any harm.
Exactly. There needs to be human oversight, too, ways to monitor what's going on and step in if something's wrong, especially if someone's in distress. And users need to be able to easily change or end the relationship with the AI. It can't be like you're trapped.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
This whole topic, it feels like we're on the edge of something really big. AI companions, they're changing how we interact with technology. And maybe even more importantly, they're making us rethink what relationships mean in this digital age. It's pretty profound stuff.
It is. I think the big takeaway is that AI companions are a major step forward in how we connect digitally. They have the potential to do a lot of good, but we have to be careful. We need to use this technology responsibly, and that means thinking about the benefits and the risks.
Absolutely. Okay, so here's a final thought to leave you with. What does the rise of AI companions tell us about human connection itself? Like what we really value in our relationships and what can't be replaced, even in a world where tech is increasingly shaping how we interact. It's a question worth pondering. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
You got it. It's been a great discussion.
It has. See you next time.
See you later.